So I'm back from my trip to Robben Island. It was an incredible experience. There's definitely a very intricate history of the island, but then also of apartheid and the system of injustice. People go there as a pilgrimage to Nelson Mandela. He is a figure that unites people and that people still revere to this day because of the example that he set. A person that's prepared to give his life for his struggle, for his people, for his cause, which is not something that we feel in abundance of today's world leaders. What was great about this experience was that we were taken around by somebody who himself was actually a former inmate called Tom Moses. He told us firsthand the harshness and the reality of being there, how they weren't just prisoners, they were treated inhumanely, beaten, humiliated, kept in isolation, deprived human connection, decent food, and just made to suffer. It was about psychological torment and punishment for daring to speak up against the powers that be that existed in the apartheid system. And that's why the story of Nelson Mandela is so incredible. A man who suffered so much, was prepared to pay the price. In his book, he says, when a man is denied the right to lead the life he believes in, he has no choice but to become an outlaw. Even in today's world, we are seeing lots of people being categorized as terrorists or criminals or being arrested for fighting for what they believe in, even if they do so peacefully. What we saw in apartheid South Africa was an era of tyranny. The real question is, and the question that Tom Moses is asking is that era really over? Has reconciliation actually served justice? By forgiving people for their sins, has that corrected the injustices and the inequities that the apartheid system created? I think it would be fair to say that many people would say that the injustices haven't been entirely overwritten. There are still neighborhoods where there isn't access to schools and libraries, and that the inequalities continue to persist. And in fact, some of the people that were responsible for the suffering of people at Robben Island never saw justice. There's no doubt reconciliation. Coming out of prison for 27 years and choosing reconciliation was incredibly powerful, and that's why his legacy lives on today. That's why I chose to go to Robben Island. That's why so many people around the world choose to go to Robben Island. But the struggle continues. And that's the important thing about struggle. Maybe it is a never-ending battle, but the reason we fight is not always to win, but we fight for hope. And as long as we have hope, we have something to fight for. Hope is like the light that you can see in the darkness. No matter how dark things are, even the tiniest amount of light can feel like hope. So, and I just wanted to leave with this actually. So Tom Moses, the guy who took us around, fan of Liverpool, Orlando Pirates and Ajax. He was arrested at 19. He then served in Robben Island. He was made to spend a large amount of time in isolation. He was humiliated, beaten, brutalized, and treated inhumanely. He was released, and then 4 days later, he was rearrested and sent to another prison. When he was finally released, it was the day before his mother had passed away. And I'm sure that his mother is very proud of him.